Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. My name is Matthew, and I'm joined today by Bobbie King, who is the CEO and founder of a company called SQEPtech. Would you mind telling our viewers and our listeners a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Of course. So, Romanian by birth, moved across in the UK in 1999. Never planned of being a CEO, never planned of having a company at the time. Got a few part-time jobs when I moved here, and then I ended up having a maternity cover role for a company called SSL International. And I gradually went from one department to another. Ended up in data management and documentation control, and I learned all the ropes about what SSL was doing. And then from there, went off for maternity leave, had my son, Christian, who's 20 now, almost 20. Moved on to become a project manager and a business analyst at another company called AMEC, which I left behind about 7 or 8 years ago, did a little bit of consultancy, and then the idea of a company came over a glass of wine, chatting things through with my friend and thinking how we can put some really good things out there into the world. And before we knew it, my friend's husband was put forward by my friend to help me out set up SQEPtech. And just over 5 years ago,
and here
I am, a CEO.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a cool story. I bet you a lot of people, though, are asking the same question. What kind of wine was it? No, just kidding, obviously.
It was a bit of a white wine, and I'm pretty sure there were a couple of glasses of Southern Comfort mixed into there as well. So, yeah, that's where the idea became such a great idea. And before we knew it, that was it.
I love that. You may have just unknowingly given everybody the keys to their business success. A little bit of white wine, some Southern Comfort, and there go the ideas. So it's an awesome little start. Can you tell us a little bit about when you decided, okay, your friend's husband got involved and SQEPtech was born? Can you tell us about that initial period? What was it like for you? What sort of things did you have to learn about? What surprises were there in the birth of SQEPtech?
Wow, there were quite a lot. I think one of the things that we didn't anticipate was how many sleepless nights we had to put into the development, the dedication, and the amount of hours that we really had to carve out of what it used to be personal life would no longer become a personal life, if you like. To begin with, it was just the two of us. It was just Jonathan and I, and I think that was probably the easiest way, the easiest part of the journey, because we didn't have other people to think about. It was just we were funding the company to begin with. We set it up. We had a product. We knew it was unique to the market, and then we were naive at the time to think that, oh, this is just going to fly off the shelves, which was a really nice side of it. But the reality is, if it seems easy, it never is. And that was probably our first lesson, if you like. It was too good to be true. It's still very good, to have that in you when you start a business. And I wouldn't encourage anyone not to be gutsy and just go for it. But in hindsight, you're thinking, wow, we're so naive to think that everything is going to be easy. And I think where things have become a little bit more difficult is when we started to expand, when we started bringing people into the business, and it was no longer just John and I. That became really difficult, because you all of a sudden have people's lives in your hands. They left jobs, maybe in bigger companies, and they come to work for a startup. And all of a sudden, when you go to bed at night, you think, I have to sell. I have to make this work. These people have put their trust in us. And I've got to not repay them just by paying their salaries, but it's something about keeping a person working with you, and you have to provide something by way of development. You have to give them the dream for which they join you. And that is difficult. That is really hard to keep on going. And it doesn't become easier as you grow. The more people you have, the more challenging you've got more personalities, we've got diversity in the business. You have to provide them the right ground for them to thrive and develop and to find who they are as an individual. So I think these are probably the hardest things to do is the human, and making sure that those people stay because they want to stay, and they see your vision, they see your ideal, and you see what you want to do, and identify with what you're trying to do. So those, I think, that were probably if you start on this journey, you need to make sure that you articulate the why you started it and give the people around you the reason to help you and join you in that journey.
Absolutely. So the people aspect then a very important thing for you. Can you tell me what sort of traits or characteristics do you look for when you're bringing people in? This is your baby. This is your wine baby, and obviously it's very close to you. And now you've got to bring people in. And what do you look for in people when you bring them on board?
Honesty. I can't tell you enough how important this is. When we set the business up, I live in the north of England. John lives in south of England. And one thing that we decided that we're going to do right from the beginning is that we're going to be a fully remote business. That was over 5 years ago. So for us, the concept of working remote had to work. There was no two ways about it. There were two things. It wasn't just the geography. My first jobs, I had to commute to work, and when my son was little, it used to take me anything to an hour to get to the office, and sometimes another hour to get from the office back home. So as a consequence, Christiane was in care from 6:30 in the morning till closer to 6:00 in the afternoon. So the amount of time that I used to see him during the day was maybe 2-3 hours a day, because he was then going to sleep. So I always said, if I can get to have my own business or do something by myself, I'd love to do a remote. I'd love to be able to work from home and then have the flexibility to do the mum thing as well as the work thing, and don't have to waste 2-3 hours a day in a car, in the traffic jam on the motorway. But equally, we're setting up a remote business 5 years ago, before the pandemic and before everybody, wanting to have this. We needed to be able to trust people. And that's the most important thing. Obviously, you've got all the skill sets and all the competencies and the capabilities that people need to have within the business, within the aspects that we do. But individually, we need to be able to trust individuals. We can't micromanage. I hate micromanaging myself anyway. So you have to have the trust that those people that are working for you are there for the amount of time that they need to be there. I don't need them to tell me that they're logging in at 9:00 in the morning and then leaving at 5:00. We all have personal lives, and we're very personal, family-orientated business. In that, if you've got a doctor appointment, go and do your doctor appointment. If you have to take your child to school or pick her up from school, go and do that. If you want to break your day up and work in the evening because that's what suits you personally, just do that. As long as the clients are happy and as long as the work is being done at the highest quality that you can do as an individual, you ask for help when you need it, and you were present, then that's all we want from the people that are working for us. And all of this comes with a lot of trust we need to put in the people around us.
Has that open attitude and approach, has it been beneficial? Is it working? You're seeing good results?
It is. It is. You do have all sorts of people in your life. So, you do encounter some that kind of don't do that. But they walk themselves out, if you like, from those situations. And equally, you've got people who can't work remote. We also have that as well. So you can't, some people need the office environment, need to have the walk in the morning to the office and then to come home in the afternoon. It's not working from home is demanding. Everyone wants it until you actually are in the situation that you work from home, and especially if you're a single person and you live in a flat, you've got no one around to interact. So therefore, you have to consciously make a decision to break out, to go for walks, to go to the gym, to go and interact with other people, take the dog out for a walk. So it is very difficult. It's not for everybody, and it's not something that you could just switch into and thrive. And the culture that we've got internally is that it's okay to say you're not okay, because if you can't tell people and you can't be open and honest about how you personally feel, we don't know how we can help each other. I'm pleased to say that we seem to be doing that. We seem to be supporting each other really well. And because we got quite close to each other, you kind of get a gut feel if someone's not quite okay, and you reach out and you ask, are you okay? Is everything all right? Not heard from you in a while. How are things going? But it definitely is a culture that is not suitable for everyone, and some people abuse it. But what we've seen is the majority don't, and they do appreciate the flexibility and the fact that I don't have to take half a day from my holiday to go in for a medical appointment. So there are quite a lot of benefits, and we can. But now we can see it working. So fingers crossed it's going to carry on.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I think that's incredible. Tell us a little bit more about SQEPtech. Let's talk a bit about competition, if you don't mind. How do you deal with the competition? How did you cement your current position, keeping your clients, keeping your place with all of the competition out there?
It's an interesting question. So from a competition perspective, I think we probably need to slice the business pie, the areas of kind of work that we do. So I'll give you a bit of a background. So we've got consultancy services on some products which we partner up with a company called Cornerstone On Demand. They are huge on the market. They're one of the best LMSs out there. And we provide consultancy services, implementation and support and all that kind of stuff for them. We also have a UK payroll, which is a cloud software solution, which again is developed in conjunction with another partner of ours. And then we also have our own product. From a consultancy perspective, competition is fierce. There are a lot of partners that offer the same services of us as what we do. There are a lot of companies who would look at who's going to give me what I need for supporting this particular service. So from that perspective, the only thing that we can do is to put the best people in the roles. I like to believe that we do have the best ones in the market, and that we're doing best in them. And it's about flexibility. Long are the days when you go to a client and say, I work like this, and they could say, okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to follow your pattern. So you have to be flexible. You have to understand their needs. And I think our approach from that perspective is more around, it's a partnership. It's a give and take. Sometimes it works for us better than it works for them. Sometimes it works for them better than it works for us. So it's finding that middle ground and providing the best quality service. I don't know how the others are working, but I think the way that we have grown quite a lot of gravitas, if I could call it like that, in a partner universe here, is also the blend of services that we do. So we're very strong on tech because we develop our own products and we've got our own development team. We provide a blend of not just the consultancy, we also provide the options to further that product, to build integrations around it, etc., etc., etc. And then we also have an ethos of you can always build something. You can always do it. I keep saying internally with the guys, it's like, if you say to me, I can't do it, it's a little bit like waving a red rag to a bull. It's like, no, you do. You can. Yeah. You just have to approach that particular problem from a different direction. There is not, I can't do. It might be a quirky way to do it, but you can still deliver it. And I think that's what makes us different. We will not say no and walk away. We'll kind of say, right, let's just go about in a different way. And I have to say, the Tash was our product owner. Every time I ping her a message, Tash, can we talk? I've got an idea. It's like, oh God, what's Bobbie dreamt up now? There's always something new that I'm coming off with. It's like, somebody said that you can do this. There must be a way to do it. Come on, let's just have a look. So,
yeah, I like that.
I do like to keep them on their toes.
It's good. It's good. Keep them guessing. Keep them on their toes.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, competition is fierce. From a payroll perspective, again, it's a tough market there, and I think from there is probably, rather than compete, it's more partner. So partner with other companies that you've got a complementary product with, etc. When it comes to our competency management, there isn't necessarily a competition in the market for that. What it is with a competency product is more about the education of the terminology, because we talk about competencies, but if you look on social media, everybody's talking about the skills. So from our perspective and the product that we offer, yes, there is a skill, but ultimately a skill, it has to become a competency, because the skill is, I know how to ride a bike. I've achieved the skill of learning a bike. Yeah. Whether I'm going to get a BMX and then ride down the mountain, that's a competency. So that's where the challenge is when it comes to the competency management, is how do I get from just standing on the bike to going at speed down the hill? So I think we've got different areas where we got to concentrate our effort in a slightly different competitive way, depending which part of the business you're talking about.
If there's somebody else who sees themselves in a similar position to you, looking to start a business, maybe that's moved to another country, looking for a good wine to try and some ideas, what advice would you give those people for starting out?
I would say just go for it. Don't be afraid to take the bulls by the horn and just go for it. However, get advice. If I were to wind the time back to 5 years ago, I probably would have wanted to have a few conversations with people that have been there a few times, or even once, or whatever, somebody that has done this, because there are a few things that kind of trip you up, it's things that you think you know how to do, like from a finances perspective. How do I plan out? How do I when do I know that I need to bring more people in? Do I even want to bring more people? What does that mean? How, from a leader perspective, how much time do I need to put into the business? So I would say reach out to people that are in a startup, that they still have fresh in their mind, what does it mean to start? Have a fantastic accountant and a financial advisor that can give you a little bit of advice in terms of what do you need to do to start. And from a mentoring perspective, I do work with a couple of startups already, and one of the things that I keep saying to them all the time is network. The work is never going to come to you. You're going to have to go out and find the work. And networking, social media, engaging into conversations, go to kind of shows which are in your line of work, all of that is incredibly invaluable to be around people, like-minded people, and talk around what you do. And rather than talk around what you do, tell people how you can help. People don't care what you do. They want to know, what can you do for them? What's the benefit for them, for you being in their lives in wherever way you can be in their lives. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Good accountant, get a mentor, social media, and network. Offer advice and help.
Very nice. I like that. Your 4-point plan, I think that's terrific. I'm sure a lot of people are going to find that very useful. So, Bobbie, before I let you go, is there anything I might have skipped over that you think is relevant? Is there anything you'd like to tell us about SQEPtech that might be important, maybe where the people can find you before I let you go?
Yeah, I think, so we talked a little bit about SQEPtech in terms of the 5 areas of work, if you like, that we cover. One which is the core of the business, and I mentioned it a couple of times, is our SQEP competency management platform. And I think that's probably one that I kind of would like your people to take away. And the reason for that is that in today's age, there's an awful lot of talk about skill gaps. There's a lot of talk about people being promoted in the right way. It's a lot about salaries and benefits that people can get for work in an organisation. And all of that is absolutely brilliant that people want to do that and advertise themselves within their organisation when I'm good at this and I'm good at that. Organizations tend to go with an L&D, with a learning management system right now, which is brilliant because that's the basis. We're kind of a little bit of an education path right now, in that we want to make the world aware that there is a little bit more than just learning. Once you've done the learning, is that application, is the behavior that you couple with the learning, is all various circumstances and situation that you are applying your learning at. And unless there is something as an organization that you can offer your people to express their levels of competencies, that someone is, they can look at and they can validate, etc., those PDR conversations, those personal development kind of meetings that you are having on a monthly basis or yearly or whatever with your employees will be so much more easier when you can see their competency. As a manager, if somebody comes and say, I've been in a job for 10 years, I need to be, the next CEO, you can then go and say, okay, well, let's just have a look at, from a skills and competency perspective, what is where you are? From an organization perspective, you can put people in the right places in the right time. From an individual perspective, you can have those informed conversations around moving to the right job, have the conversations around the salaries, the succession planning. It becomes so much easier. So I think everything that we do as SQEPtech is representative to what we are putting our systems to do. So I think it's a bit of a double whammy. So again, probably going back to starting a new company, especially if you're looking into a niche, is about developing your value proposition, which is the road that we are now, and then educating people on the value proposition that you have set up to do with your organization. So I think whoever is listening to this and wants to follow us on LinkedIn, that wants to follow SQEPtech, that's the path that we're on. That's the path of enabling people and organizations to potentially bring a solution within their ecosystem that allows easier conversations from both manager and employee perspective.
I love it. Last one for you, just quickly. You told me in the beginning, but in case anybody's wondering, SQEPtech, SQEPtech, and the SQEP stands for
Suitable, qualified, experienced people.
that's us.
And that is what our eSquep platform does. That is us. Yeah, that's what we do in the system, and that's how we live by. Those are our values within SQEPtech. So that's what we are: suitable, qualified, experienced people.
Fantastic. Bobbie King, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today. I've really enjoyed meeting you, and we'll be keeping our eye on you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Matt, and thanks for the invite.